Hello and welcome to I think this is episode 4 um, of the Two Peas and One podcast. So happy to have you
I
here.
don't know anymore.
I don't.
Or is it three? I
It's
don't
all
know.
melding together. So I am one of the hosts, Kai, and I'm here with the lovely.
Chevelle.
And there is a slight delay. I think we have a delay again,
Okay.
but it's okay.
Gotcha.
It's all right. Chevelle hears us.
I can.
Okay.
Am I missing Bun? Hey everybody. I'm in the Halloween mode. I have a disappearing bun on my head, so it disappears.
Very spooky tonight.
I didn't even plan that one.
So tonight we are going to be talking about dating. Okay, Brenda says she can hear us all year. So great. So Brenda is joining us tonight, and feel free to join us in the conversation. Drop in the comments of anything that resonates with you, of a memory that kind of surfaces while we're having this conversation. So tonight we're talking about the world of dating. Now, Chevelle and I, for those that don't know, we are not married to each other. We're cousins.
No.
Chevelle's married to her husband. I'm married to my husband. So therefore, we are not in the dating. We're not on the dating scene. But we do know that some of our viewers, listeners, they may be dating and maybe using online dating as a method to meet people. So first, just having a conversation about it. Chevelle, what are your thoughts on online dating? That wasn't really big, I think, for us. But what are your thoughts on that? If you were in the dating scene and that's like the way to meet people in the DMs, social media, or on a app?
For me, so my major is psychology, right? So I can't do, for me, I need to see the person. I need to ask them questions and see how they respond because I'm reading their behaviors. I couldn't do the dating app. For me, that's what I feel. I don't think it'll work for me, but I think it worked for others. I have friends who have done it. I have 2 friends who actually did it and actually got married, and they're still with their husbands. So I do know it worked, you know. But it's kind of scary, but stuff like that scares me. So, with my luck, I'll get on a dating app and end up with a serial killer, and I'd be in a basement somewhere. So, nope.
So there's a risk, right? So if you're meeting somebody or getting to know people on like a social media platform, they're giving you a presentation of how they want to be perceived.
Right.
And I guess that's kind of like, even if you're meeting somebody in person, they're kind of showing you who they think that, I guess, how they want you to view them. I guess we're kind of doing that in the social media world and in real life in a way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, again, I think for me, I've never done it. I've been with my husband ever since high school. So it's like, I don't know. But it is a good way of meeting people. I know my kids, they have a lot of, they do a lot of their socializing online with people they've never met, and they feel that's their friends. I was talking to my daughter and she told me her friends, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you've never met this person? She's like, Mom, you're like so out of touch. That's how we meet. That's how we get friends today. And I'm like, okay. So, but I think it's interesting. It's an option. I just think it's like the different, what I'm learning from like people that I worked with, that there's dating apps that are different. Like you have a Tinder that probably is more casual. I heard people, I don't know this, and I apologize if I'm wrong. People said Tinder is an app that if you is like a booty call. I don't know. And then you have like other ones that for like more serious relationships. I like maybe then you have what Bumble. That's another
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
I guess the women are the ones that are in control and can swipe. They want to, you know, date that person or potential. I don't
Wow.
know.
It's so interesting. So I joined a dating app. This was, oh my God. So this is like '08 or around that
Mhm.
time. Um, and a friend of mine, she was like, Kai, you should join an app. Maybe we should, maybe you can meet somebody on there.
Mhm.
And so we did Match,
Mhm.
Match.com. And at this point, I was like, kind of like, I guess you say religious or practicing Christianity. And we tried Christian Mingle, I think it's
Mhm.
called. And it just wasn't it for me. I don't know. I just still was kind of like, I want to meet that person when I'm out, not necessarily
Mhm.
online. And I just think because so many years have passed that kind of like, I don't know if the right word is stigma, but kind of like, oh, meeting somebody online, you're dating them. Like it was viewed differently back then, I think, than it is now. I think because it's so common, like you said, you have friends who met on an online platform and they got married.
Mhm.
I know one person they met on Match, they got married, and another person that's been in a committed relationship for a long time, they also met on Match.com.
Uh-huh.
So, and I think it's kind of viewed differently now than it
Yes.
was then. So those were, and I think I only stayed on Christian Mingle and Match until that trial period where I didn't have to pay anything.
Mhm.
And then once the payment started kicking, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this because I didn't have money for a dating app. And so then I joined Plenty of Fish. And that has anybody heard of Plenty of Fish?
I heard of it. I had a supervisor that told me she was on that.
Mm.
Not the one I work with now. I'm gonna throw that out there. The one I work when I was married. This is the one in New York. Mhm.
Yeah, that one is different. That was
Mhm.
that was quite an experience. And maybe one day I will not do it now, but I'll share my experience with Plenty of Fish. But it's YouTube, so I just am cautious of that. So, so Shabelle, do you think with the apps? Do
Mhm.
you think that helps us get like closer to finding true love? I don't know, true love, romance, or do you think like the old fashioned way of like, I don't know, I'm going out to the grocery store or I'm just out and about and then
Uh-huh.
have this connection with somebody?
Well, I think that for me, what I believe is that the app can create like influence the dating behaviors and expectation. Like you're swiping, you can get fatigued with swiping, or somebody could be giving you mixed signals,
Hmm.
um, or you have a thought process of endless options. So if endless options, sometimes that can make you not want to really learn more about this person. You see one red flag, and you're like, I'm out the door because I have all these other options. I
Hmm.
mean, I think it's just I think this access to the dating sites and these dating pools can sometimes give a false, reality and create these behaviors that, can affect you finding true love. Um, I think we have to look at that as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think the other part to it, I saw this video. Let me know what you think about this. It was
Mhm.
a couple and it looks like they were at some type of lounge and there was a guy there. I don't know if he has like a podcast, but those guys or women, how they kind of walk around a microphone and they interview like people on the street or something
Yeah.
like that. So they were this guy was interviewing couples and he went to this one couple and he's like, hey, how long you guys been together? So they're sharing how long they've been together. Like, are you guys happy?
Hmm.
And they're both like, yeah, everything's pretty good. The guy was like, in the relationship, he said, we did go through a rough patch, but we're working things out. And she agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And the interviewer, he's like, are any of you on any dating apps? And
Okay.
so the guy's like, no, like we're in a relationship. So the girl, she responds, she's like, no, I'm not on a dating app. So the guy's like, okay. He said, are you sure?
Okay.
And they're both like, no. Like, why would we're in a committed relationship? I think they were together for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the interview, he's like, well, there's some type of, I guess, device, which I know we're going to be talking about deep fake in a few weeks or so. We're going to do an episode on that.
Mm-hmm.
But it can figure your face and it can find you online.
Oh, okay.
And so they took a picture of their face and the guy went, I don't know exactly the technology behind this, but he was able to like sort through this technology, online to see if that, like a facial recognition, if it matched with any dating sites. Lo and behold, this girl face pops up.
Oh.
And she was active on a dating site.
Mm.
So now the guy pulls up this profile and he's like, well, is this you?
Mm-hmm.
It's like stunned. So apparently they met on an app. I don't know if she never closed the app because I guess there's a way that you can go in and basically not receive any more messages or just totally leave. But she was still on there entertaining.
See, you have that back door. Maybe there's something better for me. I'm committed in the moment, but I'm gonna leave that back door open. And that right there, you're never going to, because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. You know what I mean? We
Right.
come into the relationship with baggage, you know. So if you think you're gonna come into this relationship with, there's not going to be any issues, and if you do have a relationship, there's no issues, I'm here to tell you that you have issues because there's no issues. You know what I mean? That is an issue.
Right.
You know, so it's you know, it's scary. It's scary, you know, because of course I do believe, you know, for the most part, people get on the dating sites because they want to find a connection. You know, that's just part of being a human being. You want connection. You want that relationship. You want, in the beginning when you talking on the phone and like you hang up, no, you hang up,
Right.
no, you hang up. People want that. People want to be loved and all of that. I do believe that. I just, you have to be strong in what you want and be willing to close that back door, close that site, shut it down.
Right.
Don't entertain it. Because you always going to see something you think is green on the other side, but it may not be.
Exactly. And so we talked about like the dating apps. There's Bumble, as you said, and there's a host of others. But there's also, like, if you go, I think these are on YouTube. There's something called Pop the Balloon. And that's when people, like, you have someone, man or woman, they're coming on the show and there's like a row of either men or women and they have balloons. And if you're not interested in the person that has now come out, that individual, you can pop your balloon. So some of this is based on pure looks, right? If this person just steps on the stage and you have not heard them say anything, some people already pop the balloon like, well, this person is not my cup of tea as far as the looks department. Then the host starts asking questions and just to kind of get to know the person a little bit more. And at any point, you can pop your balloon during this period. And then the host kind of brings that individual along, I believe, to anyone whose balloon has not been popped yet, to kind of have a conversation, but also ask the people that popped the balloon, why did you? And it's just so interesting, like looking at that versus, what's it called? Love Connection. Like, remember back in the day? So, and it's just so interesting to see how things evolve. Like, this whole thing of meeting, it's always been something that has drawn an audience, or people are interested in, like, complete strangers. Is there a love match, and what happens if there is one? But have you heard of Pop the Balloon?
I watched a little YouTube short on it, and this guy, it was so. I mean, one time he went up to this girl. I don't like you because no, he popped a balloon. Why you popped the balloon? And I think it's because he said that he didn't like that she didn't like the way her weave was in her hair. This is how surface. He said, I can see that your hair underneath is braided and how you got the wig on your head or something like that. And I'm like, wait, what? Are you serious? So you know what she did? She pulled the wig off. And she didn't have she had a brush cut. She had like this nice little brush cut, little short haircut. And she said she said some things to him, and it was like she said, "You're wrong." She said, "You know you're already made already made this opinion about me, and he was wrong." So my thing is that of course when you meet people, the first thing you see is that physical attraction, right? But beauty fades. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Beauty eventually fades. So it's like, what are you really looking for being on this show? Are you looking how you guys will look on Instagram together, or come on? And I do understand these shows is for entertainment purposes, but it's so surface level type of speed dating that I don't think these people are really looking for true love. But again, I've
Right.
never watched the full episode of the show either because I was so put off by that. I'm like, I don't want to watch that.
Mm-hmm. And like maybe it's too like, and I know this is another episode that when we talk about that generational difference, like maybe that's a part of it because we have a generation coming up now that is used to putting a lot of their life online.
Yeah.
Like years ago, there's certain things that I know you and I always talk about this, like that you would not put on Facebook, that you would not put on any social media platform because you would be concerned about an employer might finding it. But now, I mean, there's videos of people like getting ready, like get ready with me. And they're like getting dressed in front of the camera. And I'm just like, I don't know, your boss gonna see this, but it's just, I guess our society is now changing where so much of us that we're allowing our camera, like we're posting stuff online, like a lot of our intimate moments.
So here's the thing with that. Okay, so you post all this information online, right? So people can use that as stalking, but use that to gain a lot of information about you. So if you do get on these dating apps and they surf your name on the internet and find your Instagram and start seeing what you like, it comes to a point when you do start talking to them, they say all these things you like or all these things you share you want in a man or with a woman. Do they really want the same thing? Or are they saying these things because they know that's what you want to hear because you've shared so much of your life on this platform?
Right.
It's like I mean, that's the beauty of the internet is you can talk to so many people. Like right now, we're 2.5 hours away, and I'm talking to you, and I can see you. But
right.
The downside of it is like you have some people who can take that information and instead of doing the real groundwork to get to know who you are, they can surf you and like stalk you. And again, I have kids, and they've told me this. I'm like, how do you learn this? Oh, mom, I got a fake account. And I'm like, seriously? Like, really? Like, I just had this conversation with my daughter with a fake account and all it. And I'm like, that's too much energy. I'm telling you. Listen, if something happens and I get a divorce or my husband dies, I'm getting a dog. I am not doing this. I'm getting a dog. And me and Wolfie going to live on an island somewhere and be happy together.
I was waiting for the island part.
There's always an island involved.
I don't know. So for those that are watching, drop in the comments if you would do online dating. Have you done online dating? If you feel comfortable sharing your experience, just drop in the comments and let us know. So dating apps, Pop the Balloon, like live shows where people are coming up there meeting folk. And then we have like Facebook and Instagram and even TikTok of people following an influencer or just following someone that they like and sending them a private message or on Instagram, a DM and saying, hey, I would like, that's another way that people are meeting. I'm just like, whoa, I remember when I feel so old now, but I remember when Facebook first came out and like, I thought it was weird. You remember, I don't even know if Facebook still does this, but you could send somebody a poke. I thought it was weird when someone would poke me on Facebook. It's great. Like, why are you poking me? Now people are like, I want to take you out. I'm just like, I remember a poke was creepy. Now people are sending full messages. It's just crazy how things evolve.
And I think also is like, what happens when you meet somebody, you're talking online, you finally, ready to meet them, and you get to the restaurant or wherever you agreed to meet, and they ghost you because you got ghosting now. They totally disappear. You hear no more about them. They don't contact you anymore. I just saw a young lady who posted on Instagram crying that she was talking to this person online, and she went to the restaurant. They met, and he said, I'd be right back. And he said he was going to the bathroom, and homeboy never came back. And first of all, if that happened to me, you would never, ever, ever, ever know. Because I'm not getting on social media telling nobody that somebody did that to me. Okay? I give it to her. But, you know what? That breaks down your self-esteem. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it can do a whole, mental number on you because here you're putting yourself out there and boom, look what happens,
It's so true. Brenda, I'm going old fashioned girls. I hear you. Hear you. It's wild. And like, I've seen videos of people like what you said, Chevelle, like a couple things I want to bring up and then we're going to wrap up shortly. One is ghosting, but people like videoing first date, like, oh, I can't believe this. I'm going live on this first date. And I can't believe how this is so horrible. Like, why are you broadcast first date? Why are you wanting to get on social media with this person you're just meeting because maybe something happened you didn't like? So that's one thing. And also this whole thing about catfishing, where I saw a video of this one lady. She posted videos. I don't remember what platform she was on, but she posted pictures, full body pictures. She showed up. Now, she did look a little different in her pictures than. Oh,
Jesus.
Just a little bit. Just a tad. So she showed up to the restaurant for her first date, and the guy was like, she went up to him, oh, are you so-and-so? Where they're going to meet. And he was like, whoa, no, like, this is not what I thought you looked like. So that's the other thing. You don't even know if the pictures that you're viewing and maybe who you're maybe attracted to, if they actually look like that.
Right.
With all the filters and that's a whole other.
Oh my goodness. You have created, this relationship with that picture you see, because sometimes people just prefer to chat instead of FaceTime. And then when you do, you're like, ooh, okay, you said you were 6'1", not 5'1", but, could still be a nice person, give him an opportunity or give her an opportunity.
Right.
But, even let's say that you go ahead with the date, right? They look completely different. You're like, you know what? I've been chatting with this person. What about when you start talking and then all of a sudden they oversharing? They're like telling you everything. You know what I mean? Like they don't even give you an opportunity to digest some of the stuff. I mean, I see people like, well, I work with some of them. They just, bro, I'm like, okay. Instead of waiting for that natural, of just having a conversation through several different dates, they tell you their whole life story and everything.
And it can be a lot, right? If you're on that first date and you're just trying to get to know them, and the next thing you know, you're like, whoa, we got here this quickly. I wasn't even prepared. for that.
They're already planning the wedding.
Right. Exactly.
Matter of fact, Kai, you know that I'm into reality shows, right?
Uh-huh.
And I love. So I'm watching one that was 90 Days the Other Way. Okay. So it's a young lady from Philadelphia. She's dating this guy. They've been together for 5 months. He lives in Iceland. She has, got sold her apartment, she's over in Iceland now. So last night I was watching, the episode, and she wants to get married. And he's looking at her and was like, he said, over in Iceland, we're like atheists. Like, that's not something we really do. And she's like, no, wait, I want to get married. He's like, okay, but we just only been together for 5 months. She's on her, like, this is my love. We've been together for 5 months. I moved over to this country. I want to get married. I want to have kids. And he's like, oh, pump your brakes. You know what I mean? Like, and again, here you go. You've didn't have the necessary conversations because you're so busy ready to jump to the end and forgot about the middle part. And sometimes I think, with these dating situations, people forget how to really date, because if it doesn't go well, they can swipe left or swipe right, or they do meet somebody they like and they just I call it word vomit all over them, their entire life story, the first date. We got to find a balance, if this is the route we want to go, and also some safeguards.
Right. I totally agree with that. One last thing I want to bring up, Chevelle, to your point of what you said about on Netflix. Let me know if you have seen this. Dwayne and I watched it last night. It was, I thought I was being punked. It's called Sweet Bobby, My Catfish Nightmare. This, I don't want to give it away because if somebody wants to watch it, but this lady, I guess this is what also concerns me about this. And I think I can say this about her without giving anything away. Sometimes I think maybe for some people, if you're joining these apps or you're on Facebook or Instagram and you want something so bad that maybe you will ignore the red flags. Maybe it's like, maybe you tried going out places to meet people and it's not working. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to just do this. And I think you can go in with very good intentions, but if you want something so bad and you're not seeing the red flags, you can find yourself in either a dangerous situation or wasting a lot of time.
Right.
And so this story, and I think it's real. I thought it was not real, about this lady who met somebody on Facebook, and just seeing what she went through emotionally with her family. She was getting, she comes from a traditional Indian family, and she was like 35. So her parents are like, when are you getting married? And there's a lot of questionable things that happened even before she went on the Facebook, but it was just the desperation to get married, that she just wasn't taking a moment to pause and say, okay, wait a second. What decisions have I made that led me here? And what can I learn from past relationships that I don't repeat again? Like, cause even if it's like, I'm not going to meet somebody in person, I'm going to meet them online. It doesn't mean that bad choices that I made when I met people in person, I'm not going to bring that with me to online dating.
Exactly.
So I would love for, if you guys are watching this, take a look. It's called Sweet Baby, My Catfish Nightmare on Netflix.
I'm going to look at
it. Definitely let us know what you think, Chevelle. I want to hear your thoughts. Even if next week when we come on, if you do watch over the weekend, and we can just chat about it real quick. Because it's like desperation will have you doing some strange things. So just another way to look at that. Like, if you're going to do that, just know if you had poor decisions meeting people in person, that can definitely come over into online dating.
And the last thing I would say is 2 words: values over validation. You know what I mean? is like finding genuine connection rather than external validation. So, regardless if you meet someone on an app or you meet someone in a coffee shop, you want to make sure when you're dating, you're looking for potential that you have the shared values, you have goals, that person has authentic qualities rather than that superficial attraction that we see, that digital like how many Instagram followers they have, or you know what I mean? You want to focus
Mm-hmm.
on like real compatibility and then improving that over the dating experience. I think that's the whole thing, is just values over validation, you know.
I like
And hopefully you find that person you're looking for, if it's through Bumble or Match.com or plentyoffish.com or whatever it is, or a coffee shop or whatever it may be.
Right. Yeah. You're right. I really like that. Values over validation. That's awesome. I think that's awesome to end our session tonight. Be sure to join us next Thursday. I think next Thursday we're talking about deep fake. I think
Okay.
so.
I'll be here.
So it's fascinating. So be sure to join us for that, because that really can kind of change how we view what reality is. And this whole seeing is believing, that phrase, like, is that even factual anymore? So just be sure to join us next Thursday right here at 7 p.m. You guys have a great night.
Yes. Good night, everybody.